So I came across this picture of Alice Angel and thought, wow, that's really pretty. I wish someone would draw the Bendy characters in a more realistic style. And then I was like, hey idiot, guess who's an artist? With a little verbal abuse to oneself, I started drawing her. Though I'm not really going for a fully realistic look, it's just not my thing to do. I can, but I don't wanna. Just to be clear, this is the poster Alice, or the in-game show Alice, not Alice or Allison. They come later. What? Who said that? Anyways, I still wanted to draw her in the same pose since it was the inspiration, but, you know, give it my own flair, I suppose. Also, this pose, even though I was referencing the inspiration, was a lot harder than I was expecting to do, and I think I succeeded. I mean, I think it looks good, but, you know, I think I'm biased. I wanted to give her halo a little more interest, because I'm really not a fan of big hoop. Anyway, I gave her a little star on top, and I think that's, you know, not going crazy overboard, but still more interesting. I also made her horns bigger. I'm not a fan that they're so small and, like, practically can't even see them. And then I curved them a little too, because, I don't know, it was interesting and cool, and I wanted to. I made her hair very soft and fluffy with a slight curl to it. I wanted it to have an almost cloud-like vibe. I thought it would be a good reference to, you know, Cloud 9. I also wanted to give her more interesting clothing instead of just making a tight black dress, so I took a lot of inspiration from the Roaring Twenties Flapper Girls clothes. You can't really tell since she's facing away from you, but I moved the bow from her chest to the side of her hip and added a lot of ruffles. I wanted her to have a slit up the side of her dress, but I didn't want to make her super provocative since it is supposed to be a kid's show. I gave her lots of jewelry, I wanted her to be shiny, and I gave her a bit of embroidery detailing too, to help break up the black. For the background, I wanted to maintain the silhouette style from the original image, but I didn't want to leave it just completely black since she's gonna be mostly black. So I put her on the stage with candles as show lights, you know, like how they used to do it. And of course, we can't forget the freaking wood grain. As I mentioned before, she's mostly black and white, not much to describe there. While she is black and white, I was going to do gold accents, but I didn't really like it being the only color on her monochromatic color palette. I don't really know why. I added brown and yellow to the other drawings of the other Bendy characters, but, you know, it just didn't work with her, I guess. I even did the background that way, so I'm not sure why it mattered so much to me in the moment, but it did, so whatever. Anyway, she looks great so far, so I'm not worried. For Corrupt Alice, I really wanted her to be in a super dramatically evil pose. I wanted to do the scene where she's torturing Charlie, the Butcher Gang leader, but I really didn't want to focus on him. I wanted to focus on Alice's redesign, so I left him out. Sorry, bud, maybe next time. But I still wanted to do the scene, so I pretty much just cropped it so she was the only one visible. He's there in spirit, which is probably a bad thing, actually. For her design, I wanted her to be really impossibly skinny, almost like she's malnourished, but by choice, not because she's struggling to survive. In-game, she's constantly talking about making herself perfect, and I wanted her to look almost anorexic, just with her ribs all showing. Honestly, I should have made a lot more of her bones peeking through her skin, but I didn't. Oh well. I wanted her to be extra drippy in the face. I know they updated her original model, but I really wanted to emphasize the melting look. Her outfit was a little more of a struggle. I didn't want to just do the original outfit again, especially not for her, since she's supposed to be more materialistic, or at least consumed by her vanity. So instead, I leaned into her desire to be the perfect angel and incorporated feathers into a lot of the design, like angel wings. I also put a rib cage in between the wings as an homage to the monster that's hiding beneath. For the skirt, I wanted it to look like ink pouring down and like it was clinging to her legs, so it's much tighter and more revealing than the show Alice. I like to think that the ink may change them to be all the same cartoon character, but it still reflects their inner selves outward. That way they maintain some individuality or characteristics from who they used to be. I thought about giving her a big feather boa, but it just didn't fit, at least not in the scene, because she would definitely have one. I gave her lots of jewelry for her vanity and to distract from her melting face. I made her hair swoop down as her attempt to cover her face, and instead of soft, cloudy curls, she has almost globby looking hair. Again, melting. Instead of a halo sunk into her head, I just removed it entirely and gave her an elaborate garter around her thigh as her attempt at self-preservation. Her shoes were also looking really boring, so I added some feathers to them as well, and I think they look way better, so yay. I actually have a question about the Butcher Gang. Why do they look like this? I mean, I don't think the machine spat them out looking this mangled. I'm sure someone already has said this, but I think Alice did this to them. Like, all of them. I know it's just saving models and yada yada, but I wouldn't put it past her. I mean, we first meet her literally torturing one of them, just because. She wants to harvest Boris's hearts just to make herself more beautiful. She tells Henry to just go harvest ink from the swelling searchers, and makes us break all the Bendy cutouts just to piss off the ink demon. The Butcher Gang actively tries to get her, and she makes Henry fight them off. Then, in the next chapter, she doesn't just kidnap and kill Boris, she kidnaps, mangles, and forces him to fight Henry. Was anyone else devastated by that reveal, by the way? I definitely wouldn't put it past her to have mangled the Butcher Gang as well. Just look at them. Kind of feel bad for them. Kind of. They do kind of attack us. Granted, they may only be attacking us because we did work with her. Or for her, I suppose. I wanted her skin to look kind of rotten, which was hard with a monochromatic, limited color palette, and sadly I don't really think you can see it by the end of it, but hey, it's the thought that counts. I also blended black into her skin on her arms and legs, like she's beginning to melt. It never does tell us why Alice wants Boris's hearts, just that it will enhance her beauty. On one of the quest runs, she gives Henry a syringe to get excess ink from the searchers, so I was thinking that she would have some big ritual thing with all the parts Henry gives her, and then she would suck out the ink from Boris's hearts with the syringe and inject it into her chest, hence the black on her chest, believing that the added ink would fix her face. Little does she know that the excess ink is only making her melt faster, and if she continued, it would eventually turn her into an inky mass. That might be kind of cool to draw too, now that I think about it. As mentioned before, it's a scene from the game, so I just drew all the random doodads in the background. Seriously, what's going on back there? And the colors just browns and blacks and lots of wood. The lighting's where we really get dramatic. Oh, and I almost forgot the ink. That would have been really embarrassing. as always, thank you so much for watching, and let me know what you thought and what you would like to see next. Fair foreign, everyone!